Alright, it is time for Friday Reads. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you this video. In my Friday Reads videos, I share how my reading has been going, including what I finished, what I've started, and anything interesting about titles I'm carrying over week to week, and this week I have a little bit of everything. So, let's start with the finishes. First up, I finished Abracadabra, Magic with Mouse and Mole by... library sticker is covering over the title, Wong Herbert Yee, and this is a kid's book, obviously, and it actually has 4 chapters or 4 sections, and it is about a mole who asks his friend Mouse if they will go to a magic show, and so it's really cute, and I really enjoyed it, and it was just a lot of fun. So I got this at a recent library haul, and I am trying to be more active in reading the books that I've purchased, especially books that I purchased recently. So I got several kids' books in that haul, so I'm just reading one a week, and this was this week's read, and I really enjoyed it. Meet Mouse and Mole together. They make magic. I mean, seriously. Magic is good. Moon and stars. Moon and stars. So that was quite enjoyable. And I finished it, which honestly I have not finished a lot this week, so I'm taking the win. I'm taking the win. I also finished Phoebe and Her Unicorn, The Magic Storm by Dana Simpson. This is the 6th book in the Phoebe and Her Unicorn series, but this one's actually the first graphic novel. All of the ones so far have been bind-ups of comics. I think it was a web comic. And I've read 1 through 5. I don't remember if I read it for my A to Z challenge or just like unicorn. So this is really about a girl and her unicorn, and the other ones all have been, as I said, they've been bind-up comics, and some of them sort of follow the year, so you see like the holidays and the new year and the school year ending and summer and the school year starting. This one is one contained story about a magic storm, or a storm that makes the magic go away, and then mystery and intrigue ensues, and have to, get together with friends and non-friends, and I really loved it. I have actually quite enjoyed the series, and this year I'm sort of picking and sticking, so like any series that I have been enjoying, regardless of whether it's a kids, comics or manga or short stories, if I'm enjoying it, I'm just continuing to read it. I haven't read a lot of series books. I haven't finished a lot of series books. I actually don't think I've finished any series novels this year. But if I probably will apply the same, I was going to say rule, if that's too strong, guideline, that if I'm enjoying it, I'm just going to keep going. So I have enjoyed the Phoebe series, and so when I finished it, I just put the next one on hold. These ones don't usually take too long to come in, but it was cool, and I was also confused, because I'm used to just reading sort of like, 8 to 12 of the comics, like, before I go to sleep, and then I'm like, oh wait, this is a story, so I have to be a bit more present for a story, even if it's a kid's comic. So that was a lot of fun, so I was really happy to have read that. I also am continuing to read Waiting for Spring by Anishin. I didn't read this one. I've already read this one. This is volume 3. I have a hard time sometimes getting the covers for the particular volumes, but as series goes on, they can be spoilers. I don't think these ones really are. But I read volume 9. So I just finished that last night. It is a shoujo manga about a girl who wants to make some friends and then accidentally befriends the school cool basketball team, as well as reconnecting with a friend from her past. And there is lots of sort of like high schoolish romance angsty stuff. Maybe not angsty. No, it feels mostly pretty innocent, especially from the protagonist's perspective. And mostly it's funny because her goal sort of is more friendship, but then, some people take interest and then there's also the stories of the other characters in the work as well, because it actually has, I guess the regular cast of characters is like 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters. There's one that's not in it a lot, and then but there's the primary, I don't know, anyway, between 5 to 7 to 8. Anyway, I'm enjoying this. This is actually quite the right pace for me right now, just sort of mostly sweet, relationship drama, but nothing too dramatic happens. Drama that's not dramatic. That doesn't sound right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What matters is it's been the perfect thing for the perfect, it's been the perfect tone for me right now, so I'm really happy about that. My new start this week, because I am sort of trying to start one title every week and finish one title every week, so my new start this week was Relapse by Jake Anderson. This I bought this year, and Jake Anderson is one of the people who is on The Deadliest Catch. So he's a fisherman, and I started watching when he started working on the Northwestern, I more recently started watching the spin-off for The Deadliest Catch called A Viking Returns, which is the Northwestern, Sig Hansen, who captains the Northwestern, and goes to Norway to fish. Now, I've only watched the first episode. The season has finished off. So I can't believe I've only watched the first episode. So I'm kind of trying to remind myself to both watch that show, and then also I recently got this, and I was like, okay, well, if I read this, that's going to re-inspire me to watch the show. Anyway, so Jake Anderson is a fisherman, as I said, and so this is a memoir, a nonfiction work of his life, and so I've been really enjoying it. It's quite a fast read. It has a fair amount of photos in it. And he also was a skateboarder. Oh, that's not him, that's his friend. And so there's a fair amount of photos, so it is a bit of a quite a fast read. And I'm really enjoying it. Like, on the show, because I watched The Deadliest Catch seasons 1 through, I don't know, maybe 12 to 13, but I started in the middle, and I think the season I started was the season he was first on, and you just are rooting for him. Like, he just feels like, there's so many times where it just feels like he's just doesn't have the best of luck. I'll just put it that way. That's not a great way to say it, but I was always rooting for him from the get-go. He was so enthusiastic and so dedicated, and so many times things stood in his way, and often it was just, the luck of the draw, and that was just always heartbreaking. So I was always rooting for him. So I was curious to read the book that he wrote. Given the title, Relapse, it does have a fair amount of content about drugs and alcohol. So if that's a trigger, note that. But I am really enjoying it, and I'm curious to see where it goes. I've actually gotten a fair amount through. I'm about a third of the way through. So yeah, and again, I'm trying to read the books that I purchased, and this one I got, I think this year, maybe at the tail end of last year. So I'm making progress. Yay! And memoirs are one of my annual personal reading challenges, to read memoirs, and last year I was just one short. So maybe this year, I read a couple of long ones last year, but maybe, so hopefully I'll get to this year's goal, which is always 10. That's been one of my annual goals for many years. And a couple years ago, I did read the one by Sig Hansen, North by Northwestern, which I really also enjoyed. Who knew I would enjoy memoirs by fishermen? Actually, that makes complete sense to me. It does make complete sense to me. Anyway, so if you have any fisherman memoirs that you would like to recommend, I would love to hear them. Okay, so that's what I started. And then carrying over, sort of similarly themed, maybe, I am reading Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller. This one I started last week. I am buddy reading this with Izzy and Kay Kelly. I don't have my new calendars up, so I don't remember the live show. I'll put it in the description box below, the date. It's on a Tuesday at 7 EST. And so this is, I don't know what genre I would classify this as. Maybe adventure. It's about a girl who is the daughter of a pirate king, and she's trying to... I don't want to say anything about it. It reveals information rather, even to the reader. I feel like it's the pace in which it reveals information is pretty slow. That's not it. There's always intrigue. I'm always curious as to what's going on, but you don't always know what's going on because people don't always share their motivations, including the protagonist. And so there's a lot of sort of scheming is a little too strong a word, but something a little less less potent than scheming. There is definitely, shenanigans, and but it does also have some tough stuff too. So this one, I've started to enjoy it more and relax into it more than when I initially started it. I think what I was reacting to was I didn't know. I'm pretty sure that this is YA, and I didn't know that, and it has that sort of YA angst thing of like overconfidence of characters. Maybe she isn't. Maybe people aren't overconfident. Maybe, I don't know. Is that not correct to say YA characteristic YA is overconfidence? I don't know. And or maybe she's exactly confident. There's other people that are overconfident too. And there's also just angst. And there's things that you can see a mile away. Like there's just so much tension here. Gee, I wonder what's gonna happen. Like, I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. But just so there's some beats that feel very obvious that things are going to go this way, but on that being said, in terms of the story, generally don't have any idea what's going to happen, and often I am surprised by what happens, and often things are a little more cutthroat than I expect, but I should, because daughter of a pirate king, so pirate. So anyway, I am enjoying this. I have to finish it. My goal is to finish it by the end of next week. I'm a little behind schedule on it, but I will I'll get to sort of that and reading pace and stuff like that a bit later. I also continue to read the Prose Edda by Snorri Sturluson, and I gotta figure out if it's by or translated or collected. This is very dry. I also started this last week accidentally. I didn't mean to start these things, but whoops. So this is the Norse mythology, a collection of Norse mythology and Norse myths, but right now where I am, it's more like family tree type stuff. Like this person had these children and those children did these things, and sort of feats and conflicts and stuff like that. And a fair amount of them have magical elements to them, but it's quite dry, I will admit. So I think this kind of work although I do like to read as close to the source as you can, which I think is what's going on here with the Prose Edda, I do also enjoy reading interpretations of it by people who really sort of crafted a little more into a narrative that we now are more comfortable with in terms of a story narrative. And so this is a bit more dry and sort of listing as facts, but often amazing and magical feats. So I don't know. Also, I am familiar with a lot of them at this point, so then it's a little less enticing when I'm like, oh yeah, this is the story where this happens, and then if it's someone I don't know, I might not retain anything of the story. So it's been a bit of a weird reading experience. And also carrying over, this is my hopeful finish for the week, and I don't know if I'm going to get there, and that is The Well of Eternity by Richard A. Knack. This is the first in the War of the Ancients trilogy. It's a Warcraft book. This one I only have about 40 pages left, and it's a fantasy novel. It's set within the world of Warcraft, but it does really have, this one in particular very much has the beats of a fantasy novel, although there's some different kind of interesting speculative elements to it. But I'm finding it a little confusing because some of the characters, I remember them from the game, and there's some of the moments and the places I remember from the game, but they're a little bit different than I'm expecting, which makes sense if you know the sort of story of the Well of Eternity, and also that the game has had 9 expansions, so there's lots of different stories within the world, and things change, and you can play the different expansions in different elements. Like you can say, oh, I want the world to look like it did at this time, and you can change it. You just talk to Chromie and she'll make that happen, or Zadori for some of the other ones. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on tangent there. So it's a little confusing because some of the elements are like, oh gosh, I don't understand why Surmar looks like that, or where are they, or who's the that, and hey, isn't he? And then, so there's that kind, and there's also one character in this, and I'm like, I don't think I trust you, but given that I'm playing the game, I have sort of foreknowledge of certain things. Anyway, but I haven't finished this yet. And the big reason why is that I'm really at sort of like the finale, and so the next time I sit down to read it, I want to read the rest of it, and it's a little longer. It'll be like an hour's worth of reading, and I usually read it in more like 15 to 20 minutes, so I haven't quite got there, but I'm hoping to finish it because I really am struggling with the fact that not really struggling. I'm really frustrated with the fact that my currently reading is not decreasing. Like, we're nearing the end of February, which is, I mean, how did that happen? Time, linear time, that's how that happened. But we're nearing the end of February, and my currently reading really is sticking around 30. It's not decreasing. The year started at 30, and although I finished, I think 6 titles that I carried forward from last year, and this is one of them. I finished 6, so that would be 7. I still am at 30 when I clear off all of the short reads that I've read for the week. And so I'm just really frustrated with that. And I know, like, it's just math. It's, all I really need to do is maybe have a week where I don't start something new, or have a week where I pick off all of the titles, like pick 2 of the titles with 100 pages or less to finish. And I don't know, I like the system I've created for one to start and one to finish, but honestly, I think I've been adding in a second start, and I haven't been finishing. I've always finished something every week. That I've always done, but I have not done great. That being said, I only have 40 pages of this. This I will finish in 2 weeks, and Daughter of a Pirate King I will finish in 2 weeks. So, I don't know. And I don't know if I can resist not starting something new. And I'm also stuck, I mentioned this last week, I'm a little stuck on when to do the next currently reading challenge, because I was going to do it in May, but that timing is not great for me. But March doesn't work, and April is completely out. So, I don't know if I should do like a 2-week push or something. I don't know, but I'm feeling a bit frustrated. That being said, I did make some changes to my schedule this week, so I am sort of adjusting to that, and that has both helped but also thrown things a bit off. It's helped in the fact that I actually got some really good dedicated reading time a few times in, and that felt really good. And it reminded me, yes, I like to have a good solid period of time to read, and I haven't been doing that as much this year. So that was good, but it didn't happen as often as I had hoped. But it did happen, and the most important thing for me there was knowing that I got it in, but also that I was happy that I did it, and it was a nice, calming, relaxing thing to do, which is important. So hopefully that I'll work that in more. It also was Family Day this week, so both Sunday and Monday were different than they in terms of my schedule because of Family Day stuff. And so those are 2 whole days that I normally have a huge block of reading that I didn't have any reading. So, I think the fact that I've made any progress is good. So I've also been I've been a little stressed. I don't know, distracted and stressed. So I've been gaming a fair amount. And so that has also cut into my reading time. So, but, I'm doing my best, and I hope I can get some more finishes in. It is the end of the month on Tuesday, which is, I do usually get a fair amount of reading in on Tuesdays, so maybe, oh no, I have something different going on Tuesday. Anyway, I think that's also what making shifts in my schedule is making the regular things sort of like not happen or happen differently. So there's just adjustments, and that happens, and they're good adjustments. And I'm not the best with change. Not the best with change. Anyway, in terms of upcoming, I am super excited to share that the 5th volume of the Decagon House Murders came in. This is perfect timing. This is the 2nd volume. I didn't pull up the volume 5 because I don't want to look at it because it's a mystery and I don't want to be spoiled. Anyway, so this is a manga series that's actually based on a book series, and my title, the volume 5 is the finale, and it came in from the library, and I'm so excited. I'm going to read it next week. I'm going to try my best to hold off till March 1st so that I can count it for March Mystery Madness, and that will give me at least 1 read for March Mystery Madness. I should also, I do have one title. I have a Nancy Drew title on my currently reading, and that would be smart to read that in March. And then I can also say that I read 2 things for March Mystic Madness. So I'm really, really happy about that. That timing just completely worked out. I was wondering if it was going to. I was a little sad because it is a mystery, and so I read like the first 4 volumes in quick succession, and so to leave the 5th one till later is not great. But they usually, trying to remember if this one does a bit of a recap, like a sort of, or a little flashback or a little summary. I think it does at the beginning. I really appreciate when manga does that. They usually at least do like the characters. I can't remember if what this one does, but it does have something at the beginning that's helpful. So I am happy for that. Anyway, that's how my reading has been going. Obviously, it's been a little bumpy. It's been a little light. This is the first week of the year so far where I've only finished like 4 things, and most of them are sort of like, you know, this or manga or the Phoebe one. So like that's like, those are all really like half-hour to 45-minute reads, and so hopefully I'll get some longer reads finished. Hopefully I'll get the Warcraft done. I think that's probably, out of sort of what is on my currently reading, the only thing that I will like, that I brought with me from last year, which is not great. I was trying to get 5 in this month, and that would make 2 instead of 5. So obviously I didn't pay a huge lot of attention to that. There's always next month. Anyway, so that's how my reading has been going. Obviously it's been a bit bumpy, but as I said, I had some schedule changes. There was a long weekend. It's completely reasonable that it was different. That doesn't mean I'm not mad or frustrated, but it is understandable. So I do find, as long as I know the reason why something is different, I can be a little more understanding, a little more unmad. But yeah, I'm just feeling a little frustrated with things. But you know, maybe next week will be a better one. Let me know how you're doing. Are you doing a push to the end of the month to try and get a few things done? I think I will try the Warcraft one, even if I don't get it done for the end of this week. Maybe I can get it done for Tuesday. So fingers crossed I can do that. And yeah, let me know what you were up to. But yeah, that's going to be the question of the day. Let me know, are you doing a push to the end of the month to try and get a few things done? If you are, I am cheering you on. You can do it. Let's do it. All right. Thanks so much for watching.